Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is new currency, new constitution, and a new national name. Now, before I get started, a couple of things I want to say. I don't try to bring you what you want, and I don't try to bring what I want. I get up praying, Lord, this is your program. These are your people building your kingdom. What do you want to say? And oftentimes it doesn't take me in the direction that the news is taking or mankind is pushing. Today is one of those. Today's one of those days he just kept laying in my heart. This is imminent. This is the most important thing to talk about right now. And I think it is imminent. It is at the door. So, new currency, new constitution, new name. Question. Is the White House expecting trouble? Apparently. Is this trouble going to be a new currency, a new constitution, new name, and a republic in the United States, or is it going to be something from Venezuela? Okay, so here it is. From HalTurnerRadioShow.com, he says, strange truckloads of anti-scaling fencing are arriving at the White House. Okay, fine. So they're expecting trouble. He's going to say, oh, well, it's Venezuela. We're about to topple President Maduro. Okay, maybe we are. And maybe that's going to cause some trouble. And I can see that's why he would start putting up fencing to protect the White House and the other buildings from Venezuelan gang members. Or it's what I've been talking about for the last couple of days. Or the dollar falls, Trump revalues gold and silver, transfers $37 trillion in debt over to crypto, wipes out all of the dollar debt, bringing in a new digital currency, and that doesn't make some people very happy at all. I'll show you. It's in the prophecies. And I might add, I do not have one prophecy that says we're going to go to war with Venezuela or Venezuela is going to cause problems inside America. This is what the prophecies are saying. Now, there's more. Trucking flashes. Huge economic warning. What? Okay. So the Cass Freight Index is a measure of monthly freight activity, and it has dropped by 9.3%, hitting its lowest level since 2020. Well, why would there be less trucking? Well, first of all, you got to understand everything in America that is of anything moves by truck. If they're not selling it, then they don't need to buy more. If they don't need to buy more, if they're not buying more, then that means the trucks don't have to carry it. That's what he's going to say. He's saying that most Americans are running out of money and credit, struggling to feed themselves and keep a roof over their head. He's saying everything has gotten expensive. That would be another reason why we might want to revalue gold and silver, throw all of our $37 trillion in debt over on crypto and revaluing gold and silver and wiping out our debt. Whoosh! Just like that. If we look at what the prophecies have been warning us, this is what it's saying. Everything has to get more expensive just to keep up with currency that is going to start losing its purchasing power. And I got to say, we're not giving financial advice here today, but that is what I'm talking about. You remember this? This is back in July. Our good friend, You Be Ready, sent this over to me and said, I had this vision, and I would like for you to interpret it. And I read it and immediately. I knew what it was talking about. So let me explain. We've covered it a couple of times. So I found myself at an unknown location where there were two flagpoles standing near each other, and I noticed that one flagpole was empty with no flag, while the other pole had a flag flying on the top. I looked closer to the flag, and I was surprised to see that it looked exactly like a dollar bill. Well, I'm about to read a couple others, saw the same thing. It was flying high and waving in the wind. The people standing around the pole were happy and cheerful and while admiring the flag. I was observing the clear sky when a storm, okay, who else talked about a storm? That would be Shane Warren. A storm cloud suddenly appeared. I watched this, see, I know a lot of people say, well, it's just dreams and visions, it's just rubbish. Bible says in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let a thing be established. I got 3 people saying the same thing. Time to bend our ears for it and listen to what God is saying. I watched as the cloud began to move quickly across the sky and then come to an abrupt stop directly over the flagpole with the dollar bill on it. As I continued watching, lightning bolts suddenly flashed out of the storm clouds, striking the pole and flag, causing the flag to catch on fire, meaning the dollar is going away, just like several others have warned us. The people at the base of the pole become very alarmed. They begin running around and shouting, trying to hurry and get the flag down as quickly as possible to put the fire out and save the flag. In other words, save the dollar. The dollar, I'm telling you, the dollar's going about to go bye-bye. I watched closely as the flag continued to burn for the entire time it was being lowered. Same thing Coverstone saw. By the time it had been lowered to halfway down the pole, I saw the flag had burned in half. Maurice Sklar said the same thing. Okay, many people seen this. At this point, the people had all become frantic, trying to speed up the lowering of the flag, but to no avail. In other words, they tried to save the dollar, but you can't save it. It's gone. When the flag finally reached the bottom of the pole, nothing was left. Shane Warren would reach zero, worthless as leaves blowing in the wind. Remember that? Only the ashes that I saw blowing away in the wind. The people were all very sad, most breaking down, sobbing and weeping. Same thing Coverstone saw. Almost immediately, my attention was brought to a different group of people who had now gathered at the other flagpole that was previously empty. They seemed very happy and excited as they began hoisting a new flag up on the flagpole. As I watched the flag being raised, I noticed the red and white stripes and blue color as it normally appears on the U.S. flag, but it was different. In the blue area, where the 50 white stars would normally be, there was a big white X that extended close to the borders of the blue area. I was very surprised when I saw this and wondered what it could represent. The flag quickly reached the top, and all of the people who were gathered at the pole immediately started cheering and shouting, celebrating, jumping for joy. What's it saying? It's saying that the paper and coin dollar is going to go digital, just like several others have said. Then once again, my attention was brought over to the other flagpole, where I saw the people there very sad and crying. The vision ended, then I heard these words spoken to me, out with the old, in with the new, and nobody will be ready. Well, hopefully we're ready. Now, I emailed him over and I said, okay, so I did a little research, and the only thing I could find, the only logo I could find any place that had an X in it is right there. X, as in XRP. And there's been some other people that have also prophesied XRP. And one article I read, I couldn't find it, bring it up here again. It said that however XRP was set up, that seems to be what they said was the best foundational structure to go to a global digital currency, XRP. Now, again, I'm not giving financial advice. I don't know nothing, I don't know. I'm just trying to interpret the prophecies for you here. Okay, let's go on. So, apparently, this is what he saw. He saw these flags. Now, is that saying by XRP? Well, that's what the vision's saying. I'm not giving you any financial advice, but if you do want to get XRP, you go to prophecyclubcrypto.com. prophecyclubcrypto.com. Anyway, the article here says, XRP price prediction is 500%. Again, I do not know it's going to go that high, but there's been some crazy millionaires made in this crypto stuff. You can pause and read it if you want to. Let's move on. prophecyclubcrypto.com. prophecyclubcrypto.com. All right. Watch this one. Ask yourself if this leans in the direction of a new currency. Trump. The Dems are demanding unserious and ridiculous things. What are the Dems demanding? Okay, so Donald Trump, this is what it says, canceled a meeting with the Democratic leaders. He says they're unserious and have ridiculous demands. Well, what are they demanding? They're threatening to shut down the government. That they could. Why would the Dems want to threaten to shut down the government? Because they want to kill America. They don't mind shutting down the government. They don't mind destroying the whole thing. They want to. They want to bring in a communist world government. So shutting down the government is fine with them. Let's go on though. Watch what they're asking for. free health care for illegal aliens, force taxpayers to fund transgender surgery for minors, exactly what the devil works for. Dead people on Medicaid rolls, in other words, getting us deeper in debt. Allowing illegal alien criminals to steal billions of dollars in American taxpayer benefits, try to force our country again down our border, to lower our borders, to let criminals into the world, allow men to play in women's sports, and essentially create a transgender operation for everybody. In other words, Satan's agenda to destroy this nation. Now, does that fit in with a possible change of the dollar? Oh, yeah. I tell you why, because look at the next one. The government could shut down in less than a week. As in by October 1. The government runs out of funding as the clock strikes midnight from Tuesday, September 30 to Wednesday, October 1. I'm recording this on the 24th, meaning we got less than a week. So the government starts shutting down. Now, okay, what does that mean? Well, what did the other guy say just in the last couple of programs? He said by October 15th, this new thing, he wouldn't tell us what it was, but if we look at the prophecies, we know what's coming. On Friday, House Republicans and one Democrat passed a bill that would have kept the government funded until November the 20th. But within hours of the House action, the Senate Democrats blocked the measure from passing the Senate. Instead of offering their own funding bill that included a number of health care provisions, Democrats say they are essential. Republicans simply blocked that bill from advancing the Senate. In other words, right now, the Republicans are trying to fix this nation, and Democrats that have already done a lot of damage well down the road to destruction are trying to finalize the destruction. So, can you see that here in the next month, I'll just say, maybe by October 15th, I don't know October 15th, but can you see maybe by the end of the year that we could be in a jam where finally Trump says, okay, you guys going to shut down the government? I'll just leave it shut down. Then after a few days, maybe a few weeks, maybe even a month, all of a sudden he comes out with, hey, I've decided to revalue gold and silver. I've decided to switch all of our $37 trillion of debt, throw it off on crypto, a new digital currency, revalue that, and that's throwing the debt of America on the backs of all of the other world people, which are the ones that wound up taking the money from America in the first place. And all of a sudden, the people get angry. He just decides, I'm just going to suspend the Constitution. That probably means martial law. That probably means arrests. Have we heard about a prophecy on that? Yeah. Another reason financial change is coming. Let's go to Coverstone. Talked about it briefly. Back in 2020, I saw a $100 bill the size of a flag hanging on a flagpole. Burning on one corner was being lowered like a flag is lowered at the end of the day. The same thing you be ready saw. People had their hands over their hearts and crying because the god of money was being lowered. The dollar had lost its value and burned until only about how much? Well, first it goes 1/3 down, then 1/3, then zero. To the protesters, the death of the dollar was celebration. Many people, in other words, the Democrats, want to see it. They want to see this nation, this Christian nation, destroyed. Many people are celebrating while others are devastated and totally torn up by the death of the dollar. The value of the American dollar was dying, and then I heard someone playing taps in the background. Now let's jump to Brandon Biggs. This is the guy that saw Trump shot in the right ear 3 months before it happened. I was praying and I saw a flagpole. That's the third time. Third person sees flagpole. With a $100 bill flying on it was a flag. 3 people. I saw it change to a digital code. I'm going to show you another one. There was another one too. It was digital like crypto writing on it, and I said, Lord, what are you showing me? He said, the dollar's about to turn into a digital dollar, and it would be worth half what it is now. He showed me all banks seized the money inside of them. It was like a bail-in. Okay? Is that kind of like revaluing gold and silver? Is that kind of like all of a sudden wiping out the debt of all of America? Throwing it off on the backs of the rest of the people around the world, just like we've been told? Now let's go to another Brandon Biggs. See, this was April 24. This is May 24. Angel brought me up the dollar again last night and said, I told you, the purchasing power of the dollar would be around 50 cents. Well, if it goes one-third, 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 at some point it reached 50%. It's happening right now. Inflation is getting worse, just like the trucks that are not moving, okay? The purchasing power of the dollar is crumbling. As we speak day by day, he said there will be a major event that causes a significant stock market crash, and it'll send it into the 1930s type crash. It's coming. There will be an event that happens. I don't know what the event is, but I can tell you right now, that stock market, I'm not an expert, I'm not giving financial advice, but it's way too high. It's ridiculous. Now let's jump to Brandon again. The Lord showed me an American flag transformed in a $100 bill. Yes, he's still talking about the same one, but he brings some additional information. Transformed into a digital code like a crypto code, moving like it was alive. It was like the internet math code and began moving. I said, Lord, what is this? He said, the dollar's about to turn into a digital dollar. Yes, he repeated that, but there's more. So a $100 bill will be worth 50 cents. He showed me all the banks went bankrupt. That's part of the whole new wiping it all out. All the money that was in the banks, whether you were rich or poor, seized it all. All the money the banks seized, it was now the property of the bank, and I don't know, but somehow they seized all the money of the banks. Again, part of wiping it all out. Loans that you have in your house and your cars and everything, I saw that they took all of it. They called it a debt jubilee because they couldn't foreclose and take everybody's houses and cars because the dollar had crashed. They just wiped it all out. Let me say that again. They just wiped it all out and created a whole new digital platform. What do I have to say to be listened to? What do I have to say? I mean, how many people? I don't understand why people can't listen to what God, they don't recognize the voice of God. They don't know that this is the way God speaks. This is the way God speaks. God talking. He's screaming at us. If we just have ears to listen. Everybody's cars, because the dollar crashed, they just wiped it all out and created a whole new digital platform. And I might add, a new constitution, a new name, a new flag, okay? They created a new digital dollar. The Lord showed me lines of people standing at Target stores trying to get food. They weren't dressed like they were in poverty-looking clothes. They still had on nice clothes. It was like the money had just suddenly left. It was just like it happened overnight. Same thing David Phillips saw. People in lines at Target and Walmart lines were like a mile long. There was no products. There was no food. No trucks moving. See how it all fits together? There was hardly anything left in the stores. People were waiting just to get whatever they could, and I could see them all in single-line files that stretched forever. He showed me certain cryptocurrencies that would go up in value. He showed me certain things that would happen with gold and silver, like the guy that says he promises that gold is going to go to $10,000 an ounce, or another guy says it'll go to $20,000 an ounce. I don't know. I'm not giving financial advice, but now it'd be a really good time to have some gold and silver. I mean, I can see that. I can't tell you to buy it. He showed me the euro. By the way, 800-200-GOLD or prophecyclubgold.com. He showed me the euro. The euro would be in trouble because of what was going on with Europe and this Ukraine war. It was all going to happen like dominoes, falling one after another. Now, another person, same thing. Way back in 21. I had a vision. I was in the room. I heard a loud rumbling under my feet and rolling behind me. On the wall in front of me began to appear numbers. What the other guy say? Numbers. Flag turned to numbers. Numbers were being calculated. They contained algebra and geometry, and I saw cash dropping into an abyss type of place. There was no end to it. Cash was disappearing into darkness. I saw dollars begin to start fading on each side of the point where you couldn't see the dollars on the bills, but the numbers continued to fade away. I was made to know that the dollar, listen carefully, listen. The dollar is going away, and a cashless system of digital numbers was coming. See, that's the thing I got to tell you, okay? That's the thing. Right now, that is the number one thing He's laying on my heart. You need that financial system, our financial system, is about to crash, and they're going to come up with a new one. That's what I'm trying to get across. That's what the prophecies say. I heard the Lord say digital. I said, oh my God, the cash is fading away, and digital is coming in a new domain. There's more. Now let's go to 12. Shane Warren. He sees a storm, a financial storm hit. He sees a guy pick up a fistful of dollars. He says it's raining bills, almost like they're worthless. What started it was when they started selling oil and other currency other than the dollar, which happened June 9th of 2024. We're already in this. Then he saw the devaluing of the dollar cause major rioting in the streets. He saw people holding up signs, give us our entitlements. Give us our entitlements. So what we're seeing is a financial storm, earthquake. We haven't seen the earthquake yet. Financial storm's beginning. Devaluing of the dollar, that we're in progress right now. Financial riots. Right now they're shooting at the ICE officers. Now let's jump to what I think is probably the most important one. The dream starts out, we stopped at an ATM machine to get some cash for the toll road. I put in my card, got $20 out, ended the transaction, but realized I didn't get enough, put my card back in, got another 20, but now the fee was $42. In other words, the whole banking situation changed. Another place, another guy saw also, got two people, saw that the banks just confiscate all the money. But the point is, there's a change in banking. That is on the horizon. As we drove back home, we stopped at a major bank. The television screens were showing massive arrests. An alert went on my cell phone that says Donald John Trump was assuming control as the new president. Wait a minute, he's already a president. Yeah, but he's president of the all-capital corporation, the United States of America. My guess is he's about to do away with the old Constitution, come in with a new Constitution, a new name, a new flag, with him as president. The new Republic of the United States is the reported name. I expected people to be rioting, looting, but they were happy, celebrating the streets. We haven't seen people celebrating in the streets yet. This is unfulfilled prophecy. In the dream, a man came to me and started crying, saying how all his evil bosses at the bank had been arrested and rounded up. He was now in charge of the bank. He was a Christian, had been praying for this for years. Massive arrests. A person, as people took to the streets, the victory and celebration, we joined in. We jumped in the back of a fire truck to catch a ride to the parade because the streets were so full you could not walk. Everything was amazing. So we're in the middle of massive arrests. We're in the middle of the new name, a new banking system, and suitcase nukes go off. Now, Pastor Massey asked the Lord, so when this new currency comes in, how long do we have before it's going to fall apart? And the Lord told him 6 months. He kept begging him, can't you make it a year? He said, no, stop asking. Don't ask me again. You got 6 months. And he was told, put it in land, gold, silver, and I'm going to add also Israeli oil wells. But we'll talk about that later. We jumped off the truck, ran into a restaurant, and nuclear emergency had happened. Point is, change in banking, massive arrests, rejoicing in the streets, bankers arrested, suitcase nuke, shelter in place. Now, point is, look at these. 38 suitcase nuke prophecies, 17 say a major tsunami earthquake's going to hit, 17 say we got food shortages, 11 say the dollar's going to fall, 8 say the massive arrest. Bible says in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let a thing be established. What do I suggest? I'd suggest first, you ask Jesus into your heart. Ask Jesus to forgive your sins. Second, get yourself prepared. And yes, gold and silver, Prophecy Club Crypto, Prophecy Club Gold, Prophecy Club Bar, all of those are great to go out there and investigate and find out what in the world's going on. Get yourself prepared so you're not one standing in line begging. You're one that is helping others through this mess that's coming. If you want to be on the end of making money, gold and silver is preserving your money. If you want to be on the end of making money, then you might want to call prophecyclubcrypto.com or actually go to it or call that number in the bottom right corner. Ask them about crypto if you're in the position where you can make money. If you don't want to lose your life's savings, if you have an IRA or a 401k, the thing to do is call 800-200-GOLD. 800-200-GOLD. These folks are Christians and they specialize in helping people not lose their life savings in the event of a stock market crash and things like that. Look, most of the 401ks, most of the IRAs are in paper, backed by paper. And as Lindsey Williams says, if it's in paper, it's worth the paper it's written on. You can lose it all. 1-800-200-GOLD. 800-200-GOLD. Hey, give them a call. Doesn't hurt. Doesn't cost you anything. See if they can give you some good advice. When the suitcase nukes, I didn't say if, I said when the suitcase nukes go off, if you want your car to start, if you want your computers and your refrigerators and things like that, anything with a computer chip to work, you want to have one of these from EMPShield.com. EMPShield.com. And they have videos up there. It takes about 10 minutes to put on. It's not complicated at all. And if you use the word prophecy, promo code prophecy, you get a $50 discount, and it helps your prophecy claim.